105 K Jams, hip hop and R&B heads. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Weekend Rewind with Ali Shaw. I am super excited today because I have an opportunity to interview some artists who made a tremendous impact in hip hop around the time when I was graduating high school, 1993 to be exact. And the influence that they had on artists at that time, I believe still continues to this day. And they're going to be performing live in Tulsa Sunday, March 30th. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me give a proper introduction to Ishmael Butterfly Butler, Craig Doodlebug Irving, Mariana Ladybug Mecca Vieira. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Digable Planets. Welcome.
What's happening?
That's good.
Hey. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yeah, feeling good.
Feeling good?
Thanks. Yeah.
And I see we're all in different spaces. So just to let my radio listeners know, this is a Zoom interview that we're conducting. So it's nice to be able to do this face to face.
Right on.
Right.
Yeah. So are you guys excited about coming to Tulsa?
Very much. Yes.
It's been a long time since we've been there.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask right out the gate. Have any of you ever visited before? Have you toured here before?
Yeah, I've been here. I've been there before years ago.
Uh-huh. And what do you know about Tulsa and anything, the history of the city? Or
I don't know as much. I do know though about the Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? I know about that. I know it's got a great community musically. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I have a lot of surface knowledge about Tulsa. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm hoping to learn some more when I get there though.
So will you guys be able to spend a little extra time when you're here to do some exploring, do you think?
I'm not, unfortunate. Yeah. I'm leaving like super early in the morning. I would have loved to, but
yeah,
it didn't work out that way.
Okay. So I did want to ask a random question that I had never actually heard the answer to before. How did the group name Digable Planets come together? Like who came up with that?
That's a question, Ishmael.
I don't really remember the exact specifics around it. I know that at the time I was listening to a lot of Parliament, Funkadelic. So I think that was like the main sort of like inspirational auspice behind it. Just Star Child and his like, intergalactic output and where he was coming from with things. I think that was very influential. And just the term to dig something, my father used it a lot. And then thinking that every person is a planet in themselves and we all sort of orbit around each other in a solar system of life. That was my young mind philosophical idea at the time.
Well, and I love that you're all so creative in your own ways. I wanted to ask each of you who were some of your, and there goes my earring, who were some of your musical influences or even who have inspired you creatively, not necessarily musical artists, but any creatives that may have inspired you in any way, shape, or form. Ladybug, I'll throw it to you.
Okay, sure. Wow. Creatively, who inspired me was definitely Queen Latifah. Wrath of My Madness. Like when I first heard that song, like I can't even really explain how I felt. MC Light, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Jackson 5. I could go on and on, but I'll just stop right there.
So when did you start writing? Like about how old were you when you started writing?
I would say 10th grade.
Okay.
Started writing like my observations of life and storing it in a little plastic bag that I hung on my doorknob in my room. And then, after I heard Queen Latifah's Wrath of My Madness, it kind of gave me permission to put it in rhyme form. Yeah, so right about there, 10th grade.
Well,
Yeah.
and one thing that I love about you and your voice is that it's soft. You know, it's soft, but yet so powerful. Your words and the energy that you bring behind it, I've always really admired. Um, I actually brought something to show you guys. I posted this on my Instagram. Do you remember
Man,
cassette singles?
wow, that's classic.
I found my Rebirth of Slick single, but I couldn't find my CD. It may have gotten pawned at some point,
That's
unfortunately.
called a single.
A single. Look at this.
I like the
It's
single.
the real. It's the real cassette, and it
Thank
Yeah,
had a
thank
remix. What was
you.
that?
I said thank you for
Yes.
the
I'm definitely a collector, but I think back to albums and things that I've lost over the years in my poor single mama days. So, but this was one that's like, nah, this I got to keep it. Um, so who I would say, or I wanted to ask, who are some of your favorite hip hop artists today? Ladybug, I'm gonna throw it back to you again because I want each of you to answer these two questions.
Ooh, this sister named Salimata from Brooklyn. She's on tour right now with like Mike and like all these people in Europe. She's so dope. Like I don't think many enough people know about her, but she's someone I've been bumping a lot lately. Yeah.
Okay, she's from Brooklyn.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I have not heard of her. I love women in hip hop, so
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Any other favorites that you have at the time?
Um, I mean, I love Rhapsody, of course. I feel like she doesn't get her just due enough. Um, Lauren is always going to be up there, you
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing blanks right now because I've just been absorbing the
No,
system,
good.
but she's so tight.
Yeah, all good. Doodlebug, what about you? Who are creatives who may have inspired you, and then who are some of your favorite artists maybe today?
I would say Sun Ra Orchestra, Rakim, Run DMC, Stetsasonic, Pharoah Saunders, um, Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, it's a long list. I'm just throwing out some names. I could probably name more. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But those are some of the people that inspired me. Some of the groups.
And when did your creative journey, I would say, start for you?
Man, I started off. I used to DJ my middle school parties, like almost like as the default though, because they would be like, "We're gonna have like a little school party." And everybody like, anybody got who can DJ and who can play the music? And I was like, yo, you take me home. I go home, grab my mom's turntable and a record. She didn't know about it. And she did not like it too much. But I would go take my mom's record player from home. My teacher would drive me home. I would get the record player, bring all the records, and I would just start throwing on like all types of music. And that's where it kind of like started. You know what I'm saying? After that, people started like looking towards me for all the little middle school parties. And then when I got in high school, I used to always watch this sound system from my neighborhood called Grandmasters of Funk, featured DJ Cosmic Kev and MC Perry P. And those guys showed me like, yo, in terms of DJing and how to control a crowd, those were my inspirations in terms of that. And then when I got to college, I started getting more hardcore into rapping and wanted to actually be a rapper.
Okay. And then anyone that you're looking at currently, like any artists that are, you're following at all?
Yeah, I'm a couple of artists. I like Coast Contra. I like Rock from DC. I like Ya Ra MC from the West Coast. I like Nema Nefertiti. Um and of course I'm old school, so I love all the old school artists. And I love when they doing new music, you know what I'm saying? I love to
Yeah.
see when old artists is doing new music. That's great, especially when it's dope. And a couple of cats is doing some new stuff like Thurston Howell the Third got a new joint out with the new Young Hump do, Young Hump.
Yes. Uh-huh.
They got a song together that's pretty dope. I like that joint. And there's a couple other people doing some stuff too that I'm really feeling, but that's generally speaking what I would say is what I'm feeling right now.
Okay. Thank you for that. And Butterfly, same two questions for you. Who inspired you creatively? And who are some artists that you may be looking at today?
Hmm. I think my my parents, my mom and dad inspired me creatively. Just growing up, like the type of stuff they were into, which was a lot of music, a lot of art, and a lot of culture, and they really, you know, showed me a very broad palette of those things, and also sort of instilled in me the curiosity and confidence to like venture out on my own into those things, you know. So I really would have to give it up to them first for like turning me on to the things that I ended up really feeling um um close to in my life, things that I wanted to pursue in my life with the art and the music. And the music that I'm listening to now, that's I like hip hop. Shoot, I don't really know. I listen to a lot of things. I like a lot of music. I like a lot of the new music, the new musical styles. Names that come up. I like a lot of like the Chicago stuff was cool to me, like G Herbo, Chief Keef. Um, I like Earl Sweatshirt. I like some of that like cool LA stuff. I listen to a lot of electronic music, and a lot of slow focus music as well.
Okay. Well, I'm asking for a question because I love, or for a reason, I love seeing where, kind of your origin story came from and your
Right.
background. And can you tell our audience, for those who may be new, like I find that I have a lot of listeners who are a wide variety of ages. So those of us who have been following you for years, we kind of know how you got together. But can you guys tell us, like, how did Digable Planets form? How did you meet?
Um, met I met Ladybug in DC. I was going to college there, and while I was there hanging around the hip hop scene, I met her. I don't remember exactly where it was. I remember Frank Ski used to give all these big hip hop parties in DC downtown. It could have been one of those parties. I don't remember, but I met her on that scene, and me and her got real cool. And then I met Ishmael on a party scene, like somewhere in New York, DC, Philly. I would see him in various places. You know what I'm saying? He knew some of the same people I knew, and we connected. And he was telling me about this idea he had about for a new group called Digable Planets, and it
Hmm.
was the idea was very intriguing. It was dope. I mean, he was saying a lot of things that I had been exposed to, but the way he was saying it, the way he was presenting it to me was fresh and different. You know what I'm saying? And I was magnetically attracted to it, and he asked me to be a part of it, and I was very excited to be a part of it. And my friend Mecca at the time, you know what I'm saying, she would hang out with us sometimes, and just became I don't know, just automatically over time, we just became a unit. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael saw something in both of us that he felt would add on to this new idea that he had, Digable Planets, and he took it and shopped the deal, and we got signed by this little boutique label called Pendulum Records, and here we are
The
now.
rest is history. And Ladybug, you were a dancer at the time, correct?
I wouldn't categorize myself as a dancer, but I had
I'll be
friends
right back.
who had a
Okay,
group.
no problem.
I have friends who had a group, and uh, I danced at like two festivals, sure. Um,
Okay.
but I definitely consider myself like an artist and a writer because that resonated with me a lot more. Uh,
Yeah.
and our origin story for me was when we were in Philly. Yes, we were hanging out. We were like driving around in Ishmael's, I think, grandmother's car, like just chopping it up about hip hop. Like, and we were all just on the same like frequency. And I remember there was one day when we were in Knowledge's grandmother's living room. And I don't know who asked to do this, but one of them two was like, let's write some rhymes, let's write some raps. And so we all did, and then we all shared it with each other. And then I think the two of them like went upstairs and had a little meeting or something, like in hindsight, and came back and was like, will you be in our group? So, and that's the origin story for me.
Okay. And that was around the time I would say that maybe you all discovered you speak the same language. Like I see that I feel like spiritually you're all very well connected. And I love hearing just the way you view things, you view the world, you view the universe. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
No doubt.
What's up, y'all?
What's up,
Hey.
Matt?
One love.
So I did want to ask. So, okay, we had Reaching that dropped in 1993. And of course, that was when Cool Like That dropped and people went crazy. After that, it's only a year later when Blowout Comb dropped. How did you guys pack all of that in within that short amount of time? And, can you talk about that time and what that was like?
I actually don't remember it being only a year. I thought it was way longer than that because I thought we went on tour after Reaching for a long time. I don't even know when we had the chance to even go into the studio. So that's kind of a shock to me still. Like looking back on it, I don't remember it just being a year, but I think, we was young, had a lot of energy, a lot of ideas and ability to, stay up all night and you know what I mean, think and plan and work and like we really was in love with music and hip hop. And it was like a lot of fly shit was being dropped at the time. So it was both inspirational and challenging, you know what I'm saying? Because you was already threw your hat in the ring and people was making music and it was time to, get back in there and do some new stuff, which we had a lot of wealth of ideas to do. So it was just an energy thing, a vibe thing. And looking back on it, I don't really recall the specifics of that time because the involvement, the immersion in it was so deep. It's not like I was looking at it from the outside in, I was just inside it and just moving and grooving.
So thinking of that time and then even now, like I'm looking at your studio space behind you, can you talk to us about your creative process and what that's like? Like, how does it start for you? And then how do you put things together? Or is it always different?
Yeah, I think it's always different. I mean, because you always learning something new. So when you learning something new, you're always excited to put it into what you already have. But it's a new wrinkle, so it's gonna change the process a little bit. Of course, you got your go-to sort of methods of doing things, but um, for me, creatively, as soon as I wake up, I start thinking in rhythms and cadences and melodies and harmonies and beats and stuff like that. So I always find myself in the studio or over at that guy house that just left, like just trying to learn something, trying to do something new, learning some new drum machine, learning some new thing. Like it's always something new happening. So that's how I sort of stay creatively involved, like just interest and passion, really.
Right. So do you guys have any unreleased material that fans have never heard before? Like, is there anything? I think of Prince in the vault, right? Is there anything in the vault somewhere that?
Yeah, there's some songs that we didn't ever like finish, like demos. We actually had a song that was supposed to be our first single as Digable Planets that we couldn't clear the sample for because it was too expensive.
Oh,
That but the only thing about all of that I'm telling you is I don't have the foggiest idea where any of that stuff is, but it
yeah.
does exist.
Can I ask you what the sample was? I'm nerding out a little bit because I have a whole segment on my show
Yeah,
with.
yeah, it was a George Duke sample. What was the name of that song?
Brown Bit. Oh, you talking about the original or the one we had?
Yeah,
The original?
yeah.
Damn.
I forget.
Just seen a
I,
video
f-
clip
I
of it online too.
Dookie stick has been used a lot,
Yeah,
but
I saw him performing it live on some video too. I can't remember the
Yeah,
name of the
yeah.
song.
It ain't Dookie Stick though. It's another
Nah,
joint.
yeah.
Down, down, down. Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
I forget the name of it. If I think of it, I'll tell you for sure.
Please do. You have until Sunday to think about
Okay, right on,
it. I'll see you on Sunday.
right on.
Um, so thinking about the influence that you all have had on hip hop, and sometimes I often wonder, like, is it difficult for you to see yourself in that perspective, right? Like, I know the way I've shifted in my career, and finally getting used to the fact, like, oh, I'm in a leadership role now. This is, here I am at 50 years old. Um, how do you view the evolution of hip hop today? Compared to when you started, and how do you see your influence in that? Because you guys really brought that jazz sound heavily into your art at that time. So how do you view the evolution of hip hop? Is the simple way to ask the question. Doodlebug, I'll throw it to you.
um, I think it's evolved definitely in a financial situation. Hip hop is going from an underground rebel culture that nobody wanted to play on the radio to it being one of the top selling genres in music history. Culturally, it's going through a lot of different phases. Um, right now, there was a time like when we was growing up, it was all about Black Power. You know what I'm saying? African medallions, and you know what I'm saying. It's a different flow nowadays. It's a different flow. It's about more about money. Fun, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was about that too back in the day, but I think it's just more hyper focused in terms of mainstream. You can always find a bevy of all different styles of hip hop music if you dig for it on the underground. You know what I'm saying? But on the surface, if you just was a fair weather fan and you just turn on the radio and you listen to hip hop nowadays, it's totally different now. I mean, I don't know how to, I don't really know how to categorize it, but it's different. It's not bad or good different. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? And but definitely in terms of artists being able to reach their potential, it's a lot better in this era than it was back in the day. But I think back in the day it was a lot more emphasis on originality.
Right. So, Ladybug, question for you, kind of along those same lines. Like, how do you view the evolution of hip hop? But speaking as a woman in hip hop, and I'm sure you get lots of questions about being a female MC and all the things. But what would you say? I guess what I would say, if you were to be able to speak to a woman artist right now, what would you kind of maybe words of advice or encouragement would you give them in their process and in their profession?
If I were to speak to a woman today and give advice to their process, I think the only message I would like to share is to just be yourself, you know, like just dig deep and study your own rhythms, study your flows, study your influences, and like bring your most authentic self forward. Um, Instead of following trends or trying to imitate, someone else. I think that's where like the magic is. You can take all of your influences and like digest it and then, put forth something from the heart, you know.
Right. I see that even through you when you talked about Queen Latifah and MC Light, two of the greatest female MCs of all time, and then you bring your own twist to it. And anyway, I think about you in the Ninth Wonder video when you turn around and hit it's like as soon as the camera hits your face, it's like, oh, here we go. It's my favorite part. Okay. So we know that, you guys had spent some time apart. What was the moment that made you decide to reunite and tour again? Like we're a little over 30 years now, right? Since the two albums have dropped. What was that moment that kind of like brought you back?
For me, it was, I don't recall the specific moment, but I do know around the time when it was presented to me as an option to be able to go out and do some shows, I was surprised that we had the cachet to do it because some time had passed, and we came from an era where, like, you know, you could have a hit song, then if your next song wasn't a hit, you possibly couldn't make no more music. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like you could just self-release your music and get it out there. You had to be wanted and desired, and then money put behind you to go to a studio to get your stuff pressed up. There was no digital release and stuff to where the cost was low enough for you to do your own thing. So consequently, a lot of people, once their careers was over, they didn't really get a chance to come back and really tour and stuff like that. So once I found out, oh, like, damn, people really want to see us, like, really, that was like, you know, whatever was whatever was an obstacle within myself to do it, I felt like honored and fortunate to have the opportunity. So I figured, like, that was the most important thing, to pursue that opportunity, because, you know, it's definitely a passion and a love, but also you gotta, you know, respect the blessings that the universe bring your way, you know what I'm saying, and go explore them and see what's out there for you, you know. So that's, for me, was what it was, just knowing that people wanted to check us out.
Yeah. Doodlebug, Ladybug, can you tell us about your experience with that when everything came back together?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember. I think it was like 2005, 2006, something like that. I'm not sure who exactly contacted who. I can't remember exactly, but I know that we all decided to meet up with up in New York at a studio that Mec was working with up in New York, and we all met up there and sat down and had a family meeting between us and tried to hash out whatever issues it was that was holding us back from doing it, and we were able to come to a conclusion that, yo, like Ishmael said, this is something, this is important. You know what I'm saying? We um, fans wanted to see it, and deep down, and I know in all of our hearts, I felt like we all wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? The passion for the culture, for um, rocking was just innate in us, you know what I'm saying? And once we hit that stage, I knew it. Cause I mean, we hadn't really been together in a long time, but and even nowadays when we see each other on stage, we might not see each other for weeks, sometimes months, but we get on stage and it's all of a sudden like the magic just happens again, and it's natural. It's not
Yeah.
forced or anything, and it always feels good and it feels right. So yeah,
Kind of like riding a bike, huh?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Ladybug, how's it? How about you? How does it feel for you?
Feels really good, you know. When we get on stage and like the reaction from the crowd, the love. Honestly, I walk into almost every show feeling like, is anyone gonna come? Like, you know, like is this gonna be 20 people? And I'm surprised every time. And I feel so honored and so blessed that like people have connected with our music, our message. Um, and it's, you know, I would have never guessed that like my life would have turned out like this. You know, I was kind of just moving, moving and being like guided by this energy and this like thread of consciousness. And like I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to have the life that I have and to be able to connect with people all around the world, like still in this way.
Thank you for saying that and for your transparency. Because on a personal note, I have horrible stage fright sometimes, and you have to just kind of do that thing, where you turn it on.
I still do.
Oh, yeah, I still do too. Don't trust me. I feel like I got to take a number two every time I'm about to hit the stage, and then as soon as I hit the stage, it goes away. It just literally goes away. But right before, I feel nervous as a mug. I'm not gonna lie to you. You never know how the people gonna react to you with the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, we human beings, so you never know. But once I hit the stage, it goes away automatically.
Well, and I've worked with a lot of artists over the years here in Tulsa. There was a huge project that I was a part of called Fire in Little Africa with like 50 different artists that all collaborated to do a commemorative album about the Tulsa Race Massacre. And getting to see them and their process through that whole thing, like learning like One was, I'm nauseous. Let me run real quick and then I'll be good, you know? So I love hearing that from your perspective and knowing like, look at the level that you're at and you guys still have that feeling. What someone told me once was, that means you still have a love and a passion for it. And I love hearing each of you say that. So Butterfly, do you get stage fright?
I get anxiety. You feel me? Like I get
Uh-huh.
anxious. Like and it's not really fright
Right.
because I'm used to being on stage, but it's like C said, it's an anxious wondering, because you gotta say your things right, you gotta hit your stuff right, you got things you gotta, do. So I get very anxious. So I do breathing and I pace a lot, and I yeah, I get anxiety about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I
So I'll
like I
know
love
when
the
you're in that
anxiety.
zone.
I love the anxiety though. Like I live for it. You feel me?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes me think of, I always think about Rocky, like he learned how to harness that and
Right.
beat Apollo.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you each for sharing that with me. So what's next for you guys? Is there any new music on the horizon that you're working on that your fans would be interested to hear about?
Not
Not
as
at the
yet.
moment.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh,
Not
go
at the
ahead.
moment,
Not
but
working on it
well,
yet,
yeah.
but
Not working on it yet. Okay.
like in talks to facilitate it, make it happen.
Okay. Okay. Well, we like to hear that. We love to hear the promise of that. So you guys will be here the day after the Hip Hop America, the mixtape exhibit opens at Woody Guthrie Center here in
Mm.
Tulsa. It's going to be there for about 9 months. They're going to have, I'm sure they've told you guys about this, but just to let our audience know, the mixtape exhibit will again be open at Woody Guthrie Saturday, March 29th. You can get to see items like Eazy-E's hat, a lot of LL Cool J's, Bucket Kango, things like that. So it's kind of a really exciting time to be here in Tulsa. Like I feel like sometimes in Oklahoma we may get things like a few years later, like hip hop is 50, 2, 3 now. Like so here we're a little behind, but at the same time being able to see that. How do you guys feel about being a part of that legacy and like knowing what you did to help lay that foundation? I know you weren't there at the very beginning, but not too long after. How do you feel about that?
Shoot, it feels good. I mean, the reason it feels good to me is because of what was really done for me by hip hop, really. You know what I mean? Like to this day, more than a participant, more than an influencer, more than somebody that is, a part of hip hop legacy. I always feel like a fan first. Like I see myself from a fan perspective naturally. Like that's my sort of instinctive way to look at myself in the context of hip hop. So yeah, hip hop was just a very brave, genius, and beautiful invention that I'm happy that I was alive in the time that it was, its inception, and just to be here on this earth when it was going on, when it started and everything. I feel like I hit the lottery, you know?
Yes, I feel the same way.
Hmm.
Yes. What about you, Doodlebug? What would you say?
I feel the same way he did. I mean, he summarized it pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for letting us know that there might be a promise of new music. I think Doodlebug, you had said that earlier about you like when, there are older artists that are doing newer music. I know I feel like that with some of my favorites like Little Brother and Pharoah Monch and
Yeah.
um, oh gosh, MC Light's new album. Like there was a
Yeah.
line in
It's
there
a
when she
it's a
said,
beacon. To me, I think it's like a beacon of light for the younger generation to see that this is something. This ain't no fad. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying? If you really put the work in and you love what you do, there's gonna be ups and downs. But look, see these old cats, like you could do this forever. You could do this for a long time if you do this right and you really love this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
yes,
I like that. I like to see that because it gives that, you know what I'm saying? Every other music in genre has that. You got the older cats that's still doing it, the younger cats that's looking up to them, you know what I'm saying? Something to see, you know what I'm saying? Something to look forward to.
and being able to talk about things from our perspective, and I can see life through your eyes too at the same age. Like thank you.
Yeah, there's folks our age that still want to like hear music and hear us and
Yeah.
hear what we have to say. The younger folks, like some will come along, some might not, but like we're still here, we're still alive. Like people still want to hear from our generation.
Yes. I mean, I know I want to hear some more Digable Planet, so I'm going to keep on asking about that whenever anytime I see you. Well, Tulsa is very, very excited to see you. I know that a lot of my friends who love hip hop, like, I got my tickets, I'm going to be there. We are very, very happy that you're going to be coming to our city. And hopefully, you feel that love in return that you put out on the stage that you do so well every single time. So, anything
We're
that you
excited
would
to
like?
come down there though.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, we're excited to come down there because Tulsa's history
Yeah.
and all throughout, culture and the history of the United States is very profound and deep. So to be able to come down there and really have a shared experience with the people down there is going to be exciting. It's something that we've been looking forward to for sure. When we seen it on the schedule, we like that's different because we ain't really been through there really. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's exciting because it ain't too many places we haven't really been these days.
Yes.
Yeah. And to anybody out there listening that don't have a ticket yet, look, yo, telling you right now, get your
It's
ticket
going
for
down.
real. It's going down that night. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a night to remember for real. Our band be killing it. It's
yeah.
gonna be love. The vibes is gonna be on fleek. It's gonna be nice. So if you don't have your ticket, don't miss out. This is gonna be a nice night.
I just wanted you to see that I just got goosebumps because you said your band will be. So you're gonna have a live band. That's what I was
Oh yeah,
really
yeah. The
hoping for.
band, yeah, they kick it.
Yeah.
They kick it.
You got the standing bass and the horns and everything.
Now we got electric bass, we got saxophone, keyboard, drums, guitar and keyboards.
Some
Yeah.
percussions. Yeah.
Okay, I played the sax. I played alto and baritone.
Oh wow.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So
Are you trying to hint that you trying to get
Trying to
up on
sit
stage
in.
with us?
I might.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man. Practice those. Practice that rebirth the slick lick. You know what I'm saying? We call you out. You know what I'm saying? You better be ready.
Let me bring my horn with me. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to visit with me today. I really, really appreciate you, carving out some time in your day. Very, very much looking forward to seeing you live in person. Kane's Ballroom, Sunday, March 30th. Digable Planets. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7 p.m. Get there, be on time. Doc Free will be your DJ that night. I'll be your host, and we are all very
Nice.
much looking forward to seeing your faces.
Say that then.
Yes. Thank y'all so much. Have a
Thank
great
you. I
afternoon.
will see you. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right. One
Thank
love.
you.
Bye.